Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli, the computer guy, here for the Daily Blob, where I say, let's count now. We lost the Vietnam War. We lost the war on poverty. We lost the war on drugs. We lost the Afghanistan war. I would probably argue that we lost the Iraq war, but I guess other people could argue differently. And now it appears we are losing the AI war with China. Wow, we are winning. We are winning so much being losers. Isn't it a great day to be an American? So I find this particular interesting story because there's this whole AI war currently going on between the United States and China, right? You have the Biden administration, the Trump administration. They don't want China to get our artificial intelligence, and so therefore China is building their own artificial intelligence, and they seem to be doing a good job. Surprise, surprise, they seem to be doing a good job. And now Huawei, this is coming from CNBC, Huawei touts, quote, world's most powerful AI chip cluster as NVIDIA's China challenges mount. So I just did a video talking about NVIDIA. Basically, the Chinese government has banned the purchase of NVIDIA's AI chips in China because they feel that the homegrown AI hardware is superior to what they can buy from NVIDIA, so they would prefer just to support the domestic manufacturers. And so one of the things here is the idea is, oh, well, if they're not going to buy the latest and greatest from NVIDIA, they're kneecapping themselves. One of the things you do have to think about with China, though, is with the export restrictions, they're only able to buy the fourth best AI hardware, right? Lutnick came out and basically said, we are going to sell them weak AI hardware, and so that they will become addicted to it. So basically with China, they don't have to necessarily beat NVIDIA's best hardware right now. They just have to beat their fourth best in order to get the entire Chinese supply or whatever. What becomes interesting, though, is the idea that China is actually doing pretty good, that they might actually be able to surpass the United States for AI hardware and AI capabilities, not in a decade, but probably pretty damn soon. Let's see here. Chinese telecommunications giant Huawei announced Thursday new computing systems for powering artificial intelligence with its in-house Ascend chips as it steps up pressure on U.S. rival NVIDIA. The company said it plans to launch its new, quote, Atlas 950 SuperCluster as soon as next year. Huawei announced it would roll out 3 new versions of its Ascend chips through the end of 2028 with the aim to double compute capabilities with each year's release. The chips form the basis of Huawei's AI computing infrastructure, in which a supercluster again, this is where we talk about like architecture and how they do architecture, and how they do architecture may be different than how other people do architecture. So in which a supercluster is connected to multiple superpods, which in turn are built from multiple supernodes. Supernodes, which form the base, are built on Ascend chips using a system designed to overcome technical limitations imposed by U.S. sanctions. Huawei said its new Atlas 950 super node would support 8,192 Ascend chips, and that the Atlas 950 supercluster would use more than 500,000 chips. A more advanced Atlas 960 version, slated for launch in 2027, would support 15,488 Ascend chips per node. The full supercluster would have more than 1 million Ascend chips, according to Huawei. It was not immediately clear how the system compared with those powered by NVIDIA chips. Huawei claimed in a press release that the new super nodes would be the world's most powerful by computing power for several years. In a speech Thursday, Eric Zhu, vice chairman and rotating chairman of Huawei, claimed its forthcoming Atlas 950 supernode would deliver 6.7 times more computing power than NVIDIA's NVL144 system, also planned for launch next year. Zhu even predicted that Huawei's product would, quote, be ahead on all fronts compared with another NVIDIA system planned for launch in 2027, and claimed that the Atlas 950 supercluster would have 1.3 times the computing power of Elon Musk's XAI Colossus supercomputer. So basically what they're trying to say here is that their products that they are going to be rolling out are going to be superior to the American products. Now, one to be thinking about with this is two, they might be lying. Is one, they might be lying. Again, they are still geeks. At the end of the day, a China geek and an American geek are still geeks. They still shine their turds. We all know how to shine a turd, spit polish a turd, right? So one, they might be lying. Another thing to be thinking about too with this is there's a difference between like what the hardware can do and then what the actual output is. Again, because you've got hardware, you've got software, you got everything that connects together to actually create an output. So theoretically, you could have faster GPUs, you could have faster throughput or something like that without actually creating the response more quickly or the same quality. So that's one thing to think about there. But on the other hand, the thing to consider, even if they are exaggerating with this, it does seem like they're going to be pretty damn good. even if this is a massive exaggeration, it seems like they're on the path to really cause, the United States some problems in this whole AI arms race. A research firm, SemiAnalysis, found in April that Huawei's self-developed cloud matrix system was able to perform better than NVIDIA's, despite each Ascend chip delivering only about 1/3 the performance of an NVIDIA processor. Huawei built its advantage by having 5 times as many chips. And that's one of the things I've talked about before with architecture and why I'm concerned. I'm concerned about these export controls on like nation state levels, right? Export controls on an individual company, the individual company is probably going to be resource constrained to the point that the export controls will matter. One of the things you'd have to realize though, when you're building out systems is if you have enough money, right, you can just buy more many times, right? So that was one of the things like with NVIDIA, what I was concerned with the NVIDIA export control is like, let's say you have the H100. So the H100 is the gold standard in GPUs, right? So we're not gonna sell them the H100 because that's too good. We'll only sell them the H20. Well, here's the thing. If you can team or you can connect essentially 10 H20s together, you might get better performance than an H100. So if an H100 costs, let's say $40,000, and an H20, each H20, I don't know, let's cost $8,000, right? So if you can team 10 H20s together, that may cost $80,000 and give you about the performance of a H100, let's just say, right? Depending on how you design the architecture, right? If you're dealing with individual companies, that starts to get to be very expensive, right? You are doubling the cost of the hardware. You're increasing the complexity of your architecture. There's a lot of downsides to that. But when you're competing against nation states, when you're competing against states that literally have trillions in their that they're able to spend on things, whether something costs $40,000 or $80,000 doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? It's like the difference between a high school program or a college programmer and somebody who actually works for Apple, right? If you are eating ramen noodles and going through a comp sci program, looking at a MacBook Pro seems very expensive, right? If you are working for Facebook or Meta or Google or whatever else, they literally, the cost of a MacBook Pro doesn't matter. Right, you're already making $150,000 a year. $3,000 for your computer is irrelevant. The question doesn't even come up, right? And so that's the difference. So if you try to restrict what's going to an individual company, right, they may not be able to pay the money for whatever the AI supplies that they need. But basically, when you're competing against a nation state, when you have all of China, and all of China is saying, no, we consider this a priority, therefore we're going to dump damn near whatever money we need to win at this priority, that's when everything gets really skewed, and you have to be concerned about, can you win that type of race by simply trying to do something like an export control? And I would argue you're going to lose. I would argue, the United States is already losing. The question is going to be how bad we lose and how embarrassing it's going to be. So yeah, anyways, that's the latest thing. Huawei says they have their new AI chip cluster that's going to come out. That is going to be superior to NVIDIA's. Will it actually be superior? From a technical standpoint, who knows? They might be exaggerating. Will it actually be superior from an output standpoint? That is an entirely different thing. Again, we also don't know there, but I do think it is the canary in the coal mine. It's the canary in the coal mine. We have had the leaders of the United States come out in very supremacist fashion, state that China should not advance any further in this particular technology realm because we feel uncomfortable about it, and that we feel that we have the right to kneecap them. And so with these improvements with NVIDIA, with China's AI industry, I think it's showing basically how weak our hand really is. And I am concerned with what it's going to mean for 2035. So anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about NVIDIA touting the world's most powerful AI chip cluster? What do you think about the idea of simply architecting systems in a different way in order to get the performance that you need? Do you think that the United States, do you think the concept of the US winning the AI war even makes sense? Is this a winnable war, right? Is this the war on poverty? Is this the war on drugs? Is this the war against the Taliban? Like, even if you're going to say it's a legitimate conflict, if, I ain't saying it is, but if, is it obtainable? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down. Call me amazing. Call me a moron. Just be a big dog and do it down there in the comment section. Do remember SiliconDojo.com is alive. You're going to be having classes in Durham, North Carolina coming up in the next couple of weeks. If you're interested, go to SiliconDojo.com. Become a member. You'll be on the newsletter list. And if you want to come, again, authorityless, gatekeeperless, free to the end user, hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is that you want to do. Basically, it's just going to be open classes for people to come in and learn. We're going to have a class on Introduction to LLMs with Olama. We're actually going to build up a full system so that you understand how all the components in a system work together. We're going to be doing that. So if you're interested, SiliconDojo.com. And with that, see y'all later.